Welcome to your Magnetic Purpose podcast, where human design meets astrology and tarot. I'm your host, Ashley Hood. Get ready to explore, evolve, and embrace your fullest potential. Welcome to a journey of self-discovery like no other. Hey everybody, welcome back to your Magnetic Purpose podcast. Today, I wanted to dive in something that I find really exciting, which is the open ego center. My entire career lifespan, I've always been in a field that is beauty, arts, and leadership. And now knowing that I have an open ego center has been a really great relief to me when I'm starting to get in those feelings of self-doubt, unworthiness, or I feel like I have to compete in some way. So if this sounds familiar to you, you might also have an open ego center. But let's talk about what the ego center is. So it is a little tiny triangle that is located just above your solar plexus. And this is the center that is all about your determination, your drive, ambition, willpower, and it's all about using competition in a healthy way if you have it defined. And if you do have it defined, congratulations. You are in the 34% of the population that does have it defined, and you probably have constant access to confidence, ambition, drive. You probably are also a very confident, well-spoken person. If you don't feel that way about yourself, I'm sure that others notice it in you because it would be energy that is fixed within you if you have this center defined. You probably take on tasks with a gusto, and you have no problem tackling really hard, challenging problems. But you want to make sure that you are not solely relying on your achievements to get your self-worth, because that is where burnout can come from. Now, if you have it undefined, this is where it can get a little bit more tricky. So having an undefined ego center, you are like a sponge. You are here to absorb the energy of the defined egos and mirror it and reflect it back to them. You are able to see who is a worthy adversary to compete with, and then that kind of helps to kickstart your ambition and your drive within you. You're not meant to compete or prove yourself, though. You are meant to really know that energy and then have it light a fire within you so that you can continue carrying on with what you want to create when you need that extra motivation. Now, that's if you're in the high expression. If you're in the low expression of your open ego center, things can look a little bit different. So let's see how that manifests in real life. Having it open and knowing that these energies that want to come at you are not always pleasant or comfortable, but that's okay, because when you start to feel these things and start to get triggered, that is how you know that your open center is screaming at you and trying to tell you something. So the way that this can manifest in real life is you get caught up in the comparison game. If you find yourself comparing yourself to others or feeling like your ideas are not good enough, that's how you know that you are being triggered and you are in your not self. This can look like being at a board meeting or about to give a presentation, and then somebody with a defined ego walks into the room oozing confidence, and all of a sudden you lose all of your confidence and start questioning everything you were about to say. This can also manifest in not having strong boundaries. When you have the center open, you want to make sure that you are really harnessing your own energy and not feeling that constant pressure that someone with it defined can put on you. You don't want to be taking on more jobs, tasks, responsibility than what your energy type has the capacity for, because that is just going to lead to burnout, and it's not actually going to make you seem more worthy or you're more lovable, approachable, etc., etc. So if this sounds like you, not to worry, my little open ego friends. I have some ways that you can call back in your own energy and empower your open ego. The first would be if you were to do some mantras. This is really great too if you have a defined throat center, but you just want to be somewhere where you can say it loud and say it proud. I am worthy simply because I exist. Another great tool you can use is strong boundaries. Creating those strong boundaries for yourself and knowing when enough is enough. If you are not here to compete and prove yourself, and you're taking on too many things than what you have the capacity and the strength to do, it is just going to derail everything that you're meant to do on your path. So making sure that you have strong boundaries and knowing what you're capable of and what you have the energy for at the moment is going to be key for you. Another really great thing that can happen when you are feeling a little bit triggered is it is our subconscious trying to talk to us. So why not grab a journal and start flow writing? I recommend doing about a 5 to 10 minute flow writing session in your journal, because the first couple of minutes is going to be a little bit like a brain dump. You're going to get out all of the noise that's going on in your mind, and then you're going to get into your body and really understand what is being asked of you and why this is triggering you. Set that timer for 10 minutes and do not let that pen leave the page until the timer goes off. It could be really exciting and really interesting to see what comes up. Now, if you are in relation with somebody who does have a defined ego, here are some tips to create a little bit more harmony. The first thing you're going to want to do is understand that you are a sponge for that kind of energy, but it is not of you. You are meant to filter it, to observe it, and then pass it along. If you feel like you are starting to try and compete with others, you know that you've taken on that energy and it's not correct for you. The next thing that you can do is really celebrate the person who does have this defined ego. It is completely correct for their path and their energy to be competitive and to be willful. That is what they're here to do. So instead of feeling intimidated or insecure around them, maybe start celebrating those strengths that they do have and seeing how you can sample a little bit of that energy for yourself the next time that you feel you need a little bit of motivation or a kickstart. There's a few different rituals that you can do as well when you're trying to dispel some of this heavy energy. The first is a candle ceremony. So you'll want to write down all of the self-doubt feelings that you're having, the triggers that are coming up onto a piece of paper. Light a candle and then burn that piece of paper, but make sure that you have a pot of water or you're by a sink so that you can douse that soon. And as it burns, think of this releasing and cleansing all of those negative emotions out of you. Once you're done, blow out the candle and say, "And then I receive." This will start to bring in new intentions for you and it will clear out the things that you don't want. Next, a tarot spread. Just a simple 3-card tarot spread can give you a lot of guidance from maybe your higher self or your best self to understand why these triggers are coming up for you when you can't quite put your finger on it. So the first card can be, what is this energy trying to tell me? Next card, how can I reclaim my power? Final card, how does my true self-worth look? Once you're done with that, you can also do your speed journaling with that for 10 minutes and just really try and see what comes up with your automatic writing. For me, when I'm feeling those feelings of insecurity, self-doubt, unworthiness, I find it's best for me to move my body. I'm a generator, so the more that I can move that energy through my sacral, the better that I start to feel. A favorite practice is Kundalini. If you've ever done Kundalini, you'll understand this, but you might come into the session super triggered and kind of pissed off about something. And then through that practice, and when you're moving your energy, you're now going to be really pissed off at all the repetitions that you have to do in Kundalini. So it's a really wonderful way to be able to move that energy through you in a really fast, fun, creative way. I always say that Kundalini is kind of like a little bit like witchcraft. There's a lot going on in there and a lot of things move through you, and there's a lot of really vigorous movements. And then finally, if you are finding that you're doing all these rituals and you still can't seem to get past this energy, I recommend going and getting either Reiki, pranic, or having a sound bath to really move that through you and to cut that energetic bond that is tied to you and that situation or that person. Trust me, your relationships, your friendships, your co-workerships, all of that will really thank you for this. But the thing that you also need to keep in mind, just like no two types are the same, no two open ego centers are the same. Your ego is going to be flavored by what your type is, all of the transits that you have, the gates that you have, the channels that you have, and your profile in your human design chart. So that's why it's so important to book a live one-on-one reading or to download your PDF off of yourmagneticpurpose.com so you can start to understand the centers that are defined within your undefined ego center, those gates that are defined in there, to really understand how those also add a special layer. So if this sounds interesting to you or you want to know more, head over to yourmagneticpurpose.com where we have a lot more resources that you are able to utilize, downloading tarot spreads and different blog posts about how to deal with your undefined centers. You can always book a live one-on-one reading with me and we can go in depth about your different undefined centers and how that actually manifests in real life. But if you want to have a little bit of fun, you can also head over to our socials and see some short little quick videos about this as well. So as always, I am your host, Ashley Hood. Until next time, here is to health, wellness, and weirdness. Take care. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to like, share, and subscribe wherever you stream your podcast. For more resources and tools to explore human design, tarot, and astrology, head over to yourmagneticpurpose.com and book a live one-on-one reading or download your free chart. Remember, the more that you align with your purpose, the more opportunities you attract.